What a move! Rion Brown, great backdoor. Great camera angle, what a pass from Deacus. This is a big block. Rion Brown with real good defense there. What a pass, what a finish. Right at the basket, no dunk, just lays it over. Shots up and it's good by Rion Brown. Downtown Rion Brown.
All right, so on the show this week we have Rion Brown from Promitheas Patras. Rion, hey, thanks for coming on and giving us some time.
No problem.
I was at the game against the victory against SIG Strasbourg, a very big victory for you and the team. You suffered a pretty bad loss last week at Besiktas. Maybe just talk about how good it was for the team to bounce back with a victory against a tough veteran Strasbourg team.
Yes, we definitely needed it. We had a tough one the week before. We had a lot of guys that were, a little tired, and the playing schedule was starting to catch up with us a little bit. So, that game, I think it really showed. But this week we recouped and got back in the gym, fine-tuned some things, and it did feel great to get one step closer to that round of 16. All the guys are very excited about being able to play in the playoffs this year. So we're just trying to finish out these last couple of weeks strong.
With this victory, the team pretty much secures a spot in the playoffs. Maybe just how important is that for you and the team?
I know for me, honestly, playing in the Champions League before, that first year we ended up missing the playoffs. So, I've been itching to get back, but I know that a lot of these other guys, this is their first time in Champions League. So I think everyone's, very excited about being one step closer to, that round of 16, and hopefully we can get in there and make some noise.
If you look at the names in this, let's call it group of death, some people might be surprised that Promitheas are second with just 2 game days left. What was the mentality of this team going into this competition? It's the first time that the club was playing internationally in its young history. What was the mentality going into this year?
I think it was a show who they are mentality. I know coming in, they talked a lot about their upcoming and, coming all the way from basically the bottom leagues in Greece and working their way up, finally being a, top team, and even last year finishing the regular season 3rd place and then finishing 4th in the playoffs. I think they were ready for, the next big step. And, this is a club, they pride themselves on just playing hard. There's a lot of grit to our team. Even sometimes where we may lack in skill, we cover in hard work. So, just us grinding out every game. Our classic press, which has been a big focal point of our wins this year. So, we just always want to come out and play as hard as we possibly can, and hopefully the result is always on our side.
You mentioned it earlier. This is actually the second season you played. You also were in the 2016-17 season with the Finnish club Katia. You mentioned sort of the motivation of trying to get to the second round into the playoffs. Maybe what did you take from that experience going into this year?
For one, experience in itself, it's a different animal having to play 2 games in 1 week, and the gruesome travel schedule. And, that year I really figured out, how to rest and, what days to push myself and, always be ready for the next games, in that week. And actually in Katia, we playing 3 games a week sometimes, because in the Finnish league, you would have to play 2 games on that weekend, because we would usually play one in the middle of the week where we had a Champions League game. So there were weeks where we played Friday, Saturday, and then Wednesday or Tuesday also. So now, going to 2 days a week, I try to tell a lot of the guys, don't push too hard in practice. You have to practice hard, but, you also have to preserve your body and take care of yourself and eat right. And that's one of the biggest things I took away from that first year, was just making sure I was always game ready, when that time came. And also to, European competition is very, very different. You have many, many different styles of play when you go into those different games. You play teams that slow it down, you play teams really fast, teams that play defense, like crazy defense press, and teams that, kind of sit back in zone. You never know. So another thing is always, just staying true to your identity. You can't, try to play like how other teams play. You have to play like yourself and try to control the tempo of the game and, win the games the way you know how to win. So those are the two probably biggest things I took from that first year that I'm trying to, lead and help the guys with this year.
Speaking to a lot of people in the club this week, I had a chance to be in Patras and just kind of get an idea about the club. A couple of words kept popping up. One was character, and the other was family. Not many people in European basketball know about this club. Maybe just give us, a sense of what it's like for you to play with Promitheas Patras.
Oh yeah, like you said, family. They've been implementing that since the day we've been there, and even when it comes to, family problems, basketball problems, off the court problems, they always want us to come to them, directly to them. You don't have to contact your agents. You don't have to contact anybody else. You can call them or text them, and, they're right around the corners. They'll come meet you anywhere you want to talk. And, it's been great to have the, organization there and club that is so in tune, with their guys that, they want to just see us happy. First and foremost, they know if we're happy and we're stress-free, that, that translates to the basketball court. So, for them to be so family-oriented is absolutely amazing. And like you said, a lot of people don't know about this club yet, but I think they will after this year.
Well, they already getting to know this club for sure. During the season for sure. Off the court a bit, saw you sporting some pretty nice kicks. Maybe are you a sneakerhead at all? I know there's a lot of them out there. Do you have some favorite shoes?
Yeah. I'm not as crazy as some guys, but I have my fair share. But I'm a big Jordan fan, of course. The Yeezys have been growing on me, but I don't have too many of those. But I'm more in tune with the shoes that I play in. So my favorite shoes to play in are Kobe. So I'm a big Kobe shoe fanatic.
And I also saw you sporting the headphones during warm-ups. What are you listening to get into game mode?
Ooh, a little bit of everything. I have a playlist that goes like years for games, but the last couple of games I've been listening to the new Future album, so he's been getting me right.
Going back now, we know your father played basketball, and we'll come back to him a little bit later more. But maybe how and when did basketball find you?
Ooh, yeah, it found me at a very, very young age. I was about 5, actually. But the crazy part is my first experience with basketball is I didn't want to play it anymore. So it took me a while to pick it back up. I had my mindset I was playing football. So I told my dad I didn't want to touch basketball no more. I don't want to play football. I don't want to do nothing else but play football. And one year he tried to convince me to play. And his logic was, hey, if you play basketball this year and you don't like it, you don't have to play again. He's like, I just want you to try one more time for me. And I did it that year, and then I never played football again after that. So, and that was at about 12 or 13. So I actually had a pretty late start, honestly. If you look at, a lot of kids that grow up playing basketball, they got that ball in their hand from the time they're, 2 and 3 years old. So I got a slightly late start, but I think it worked out.
And your brother Tico Jr., he plays football, right?
Yes, and it's weird how that happened. He's a big football guy too. Maybe I was more so looking up to my big brother than anything, but me and him, we were big football fans.
And I guess maybe who were some of your role models growing up in the game? I don't know if you had those already in the earlier years, or then when you finally started saying, "Okay, I want to do basketball." Then.
Mm. Well, of course, my dad. He started pulling out all the old tapes once I started playing. So, but I was a big Tracy McGrady fan. Like to this day, I would argue with anyone about the greatness of Tracy McGrady. So, whatever team he was on was my favorite team. I wanted them to go to the playoffs and everything else. So that was my main was T-Mac.
We mentioned your father, Tico Brown. He remains the CBA's all-time leading scorer after 19 years, won 2 championships, was selected on the All-CBA Modern Era team. When did you realize just how good of a player your father actually was?
I would probably say high school. Growing up, him showing me those tapes when I was younger, it was more so like, oh yeah, you're right, but I didn't understand the game at that point. But once I got in high school and really started, understanding when I was watching and seeing that he was literally a scoring machine, he could get a bucket from anywhere. So I think it was high school that I really realized, that man, my dad, he was that guy back then.
And maybe what are some of the things you learned from him? And then also maybe how does he still help you with basketball today?
Man, he literally taught me every single thing I know. Like, not even exaggerating, every single thing I know about basketball, I got it from him. And even to this day, at least, if not the night of the game, the next day or the next couple of days, he always calls me, tell me what he saw, things he thinks I could do better and, work on. He tries to let me critique myself a lot more these days, but, he still calls and does his weekly check-ins. But, when I was younger, he would even record and film all of my games, and we would go home and basically break down film about, ways I could score, things I messed up on defense, passes I could have made that I didn't make, so he's really been big in my life as far as, basketball, and especially basketball IQ is the biggest thing, he's been there for me for.
You're from Hinesville, Georgia. Your father went to Georgia Tech, but you decided to go to the University of Miami. Maybe what was your biggest reason for going down to Florida?
Actually, it was my goal was to play in the ACC. I grew up watching the ACC with my dad, watching Georgia Tech play everybody every week, during basketball season. So, I grew up loving the ACC as a whole, not even just one school. Like, as kids, you don't really care, what school your dad went to. You like who you like. So I actually ended up falling in love with the entire SEC and the style of play and, everything that, all the history, all the rivalry. So, when it was recruitment time, Georgia Tech actually came into the fold very late. I'm not sure why, but at that point, me and my dad felt like that wasn't good, going to be the best situation, for my college career after that. But Virginia and Miami were in my top 5. So, after taking, a visit down to Miami, seeing the beach and the, sunny skies and, knowing that's going to be year round, I think it was an easy choice.
Yeah, and you're playing in the ACC too then. Double bonus.
Exactly. two birds, one stone.
Yeah. I want to jump right to then that magical 2012-13 season. In mid-December, Miami had a road game at Savannah State, which is right near your hometown. I saw that Miami coach Joe Laranga mentioned that the game was kind of scheduled as a tribute to you and how much you meant to the program. What did it mean for you to have that game scheduled, and what was it like really, truly playing at home?
Oh, man, it was great. Coach L really outdid himself with that one. But, every year they try to, schedule to a game close, for those seniors and, give them a chance to play in front of a lot of families that, doesn't get to travel as much to watch me play. So to be able to go in Savannah, and that's actually where I was born and where most of my family lives on my mom's side. My oldest son, Ryan Jr., was, he was, I think, 2 at the time. He was even there. All of my wife's family is from there. Her dad and our side of the family, a lot of people live there. So it was great to be able to, play in front of so much family. And my mom even had a bunch of shirts made, and I had the whole crowd in green. And of course, they weren't at home, but it felt like a home game for Miami that day.
And then a month later came the big home win over number 1 Duke, 90-63. It was the Hurricanes' first victory over number-ranked team in school history. Duke's worst regular season loss since 1984. And then the students rushed the court afterwards. Take us back to January 23rd, 2013, and how you remember that experience.
All I remember is the orange blur that was running on the court, honestly. But that was an amazing experience. That's one of those experiences that you go to college for. You look forward to. You grew up watching, kids and fans rush the court after big games like that, and to be a part of that, was another basically check off the college bucket list. So, that was an amazing experience, man. If I could go back today, I would.
And that season was really magical. Miami, were the first school other than Duke and Carolina to win both the ACC regular season and tournament championships in the same year, since NC State did it back in '74. You guys went to the NCAA tournament as a 2 seed, reached the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2000, and then lost to Marquette in the Elite Eight. Probably one of the moments that you don't necessarily want to remember, but maybe just, how do you look back on that season and what did you learn most from that whole year?
Yeah, even the last thing you said, I still loved that experience, even losing in the Elite Eight. Of course, you wish you could go further, but it was all a learning experience, and I wouldn't trade how anything happened for the world. But man, that was just amazing. It was amazing. The whole tournament run, I think that's literally the most fun I've ever had playing basketball. And, the relationships, that you make with your teammates and the brotherhood, that's something that, will never go away. And even to this day, I'm in contact with all those guys every single day. We have a Cane game group chat. So, we butt with each other and, make sure everybody's doing good, make sure everybody's, having the times, we talk to each other about a lot of things. So, that whole year really has shaped my basketball career to this day. So, I wouldn't trade anything.
And then you moved from Coral Gables, Florida to Tel Aviv. Not a bad move to, weather-wise and environment and everything. A couple months, and then you switched over to Belgium with Brussels. You went undrafted in the 2014 NBA draft. How would you rate your rookie season as a professional?
Out of 10, I'd probably say about a 7. First year, going down to Tel Aviv, and I actually was playing pretty well, and they wanted to go a different direction over there with just having another American guy with a Israeli passport, basically, so they could deepen the roster a little bit. But, then I went down to Brussels and, still got to play with one of my old teammates I actually won that championship with, and Julian Gamble. So, it wasn't a bad experience. Brussels even taught me a lot. My coach down there, Coach Serge, Brussels basket, he's still there now. I think he pretty much shaped my defensive career in the pros going forward. He really pushed me a lot and, got me to basically, I was guarding point guards, 94 feet. So, that was just his philosophy. But it was still a very good experience that first year. It taught me a lot on what to expect and, the different ways, overseas and the clubs operate. So, again, I still wouldn't trade it. Everything's a learning experience. So, but I give it a 7 out of 10.
And then after a full season in Brussels, then stayed there, and then you went to Katia in Finland, played in the BCL for the regular season, and ended up in the FIBA Europe Cup. At Katia, you played with Teemu Räikkönen, who played in the EuroLeague for years, including with Olympia in 2012-13 as a 32-year-old. He was 36 when you played with him. Maybe what kind of things did you learn from him?
Oh, like I said, he's the one who kind of taught me a lot about the, playing the two leagues type of thing. Just, like I said, just being ready and being rested and doing all the right things to take care of your body and rehabbing, to make sure you were ready to go, every game. And like I said, the different styles of play when you're playing against other, European teams, everyone plays different. And, he was one of the ones, who came out and said, hey, you have to be you every game. Don't try to change who you are and change how you play depending on how other people are playing. So, he helped me kind of, fall into my own identity. So that was big for me going forward, especially that year.
Yeah, and then also especially still relatively young in your career. I mean, that was your third season as a pro only.
Yes, for sure.
Being at Patras at halftime and then after the game, saw your kids Ryan Jr. and Chris running around. I even saw Ryan Jr. hit a shot just inside the free throw line. We talked and Ryan Jr., the 7-year-old, is in the academy with Promitheas. Maybe just how fun is it to see the kids running around? Did you do that at all with your father then after games, and maybe just what it's like, that whole atmosphere of having them run around with you on the road here out in Europe?
Yeah, no, I actually didn't get to experience that part with my dad. That was my brother that was traveling around with him.
Okay.
By the time I was going, my dad was just hanging it up, so I just missed it. But just being able to see them out there, enjoying themselves, they don't grasp exactly what is going on around them yet. They're just running around being crazy. But the fact that I can take my family around the country and allow them to see different things and experience different cultures and languages is truly, truly a blessing. Even my son Ryan Jr., he's been to Belgium. He's been to Finland. He's been to Germany. He's been almost a lot of places that I've been playing. Traveling, watching me play. And I mean, he could speak a little bit of French, a little bit of Greek, English, Spanish, like that experience, and those little things like that. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I can't wait to show them how they ran around. When they get older. Trust me, I'll have it all on tape.
Let's come back to Promitheas. We talked about not many people maybe knew about this club, and there's maybe a little bit of a surprise element, the first time you play against you guys. But you guys are still winning games even the second time around in this competition, the Basketball Champions League. What makes this team so strong, so good?
I think how deep we are. We have a roster of really 12 guys that can step in and play, at any given moment. And I think another thing is, our team is built for two leagues. We even have a slightly different rotation, in Greek League and in Champions League. But, everybody knows on any given night that, they're going to have to play and they're going to have to give us something. And I think, the thought of knowing that you're just going to, basically rot over there on the bench, you're always going to be able to play and contribute to the team is a big thing. And like I said, our identity on defense, just kind of helter skelter. It looks crazy, but you know, it's organized in our head. But I think that helps us a lot. You know, like I said, we play at our speed, and we try to speed you up to play at our speed. So, you know, we've been staying true to our identity, and it's been working out for us. But you know, that family atmosphere, you know, that brotherhood that we have, and that we've basically connected with in a very, very short amount of time, I think has helped us a lot.
Right now, the team has a solid grip on second place in the group. And, you know, we talked a little bit about the playoffs. You played 2 seasons at Miami with DeCon Jones of Halone and you know, also with Julian Gamble at Nanterre. You mentioned you also won the championship with him.
Mm-hmm.
How much would you love to be able to face one of those guys along the road in the BCL playoffs?
Oh man, I've been keeping up with that group all year, man. I was watching the games last night, and
you might get one of them.
Seeing that one of those guys could finish in third, you know, we could end up getting them on the draw. I've been very excited. You know, we always have to have the trash talk and the, you know, bragging rights for the group chat. So I am looking forward to, you know, hopefully being able to play one of those guys. And, you know, it's always good to even just be able to see them. You know, we all travel all over the place and, you know, gone all year, and we don't get to see each other, you know, that much anymore. So even just being able to, you know, say what's up and give them a hug, man, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's not go too far in advance. You know, next week you stay home. You go to you play against Neptunas Klaipėda. You know, they're fighting for playoff spots. You know, they're right on the edge of the playoffs in the group. You know, you guys are trying to, you know, hammer down that second place. May just talk about your expectations for that game then next Wednesday.
Yeah, of course, expectation is to win. You know, we don't want to have any slip-ups in these last 2 games. And, you know, we actually even have a chance to go for first at this point, you know, especially with Bologna taking that big loss yesterday. So,
yeah.
You know, we're looking to win out, and, you know, we're even going for the 1 seed. You know, we want it all. We don't want to settle for anything. So, you know, that game's going to be really big. Last home game of the Champions League before the playoffs. So, you know, we're going to be looking to come out and send a message as usual.
All right, Rion Brown, thank you very much. Appreciate your time. It was a pleasure watching you play live and having a chance to meet you after the game, and it's been fun watching this young and refreshing club rise up in the Basketball Champions League. So, been a pleasure, and good luck down the road.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.